You are a beautiful, divine, co-creating God. Wait, what? Did he just say I'm a God? Yep, that's right. You heard me. You are indeed a God. But first, let me clarify some things. You're not the God. You're not the master of the entire universe, are you? But you are the God of your universe, aren't you? At least your particular surrounding area. If you are fortunate enough to have your own place, have your own room, or even if you're free enough to wander about this world, you know this is true. You can literally do almost anything you want within reason, right? You have the power to go to school, to build a house, to start a family. Think of anything creative, really, and for the most part, you have the power to do that. Now, obviously, there are certain things based on your situation that will affect our ability to co-create in this world. Let's say you grow up in a third world country versus America or Australia. If you were born with some type of disability, if you're 90 pounds soaking wet and you want to star in the NFL, or if you're 103 and you want to have more babies. We get that there are things and external factors that affect this ability, but that's besides the point. On a side note, one of my favorite quotes is, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. True value isn't how much you have or how much you possess. It's how valuable are you when you have nothing? What are you doing based on the cards that you've been dealt to make yourself valuable? That's true value. Anyways, I'm getting off track. The point is, the amount of power you have in your decision-making process is crazy. Through your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you create your universe. Now, God has given us the power to create these thoughts on our own. And I believe God is preparing us, or training us, if you would like, to become the best versions of ourselves, to be even more God-like, to be all that we can be and do great things in this world. But we're not left alone to do this. You ever have that feeling where all of a sudden something just makes perfect sense, or an idea just pops into your head? You've been trying to conjure up this thing for hours, days, weeks even, and had no luck. And then all of a sudden, wham, out of nowhere, it just hits you. This light bulb just goes off. That's what I like to call a cosmic download. Now, some of you, if not all of you, know exactly what I mean. This deep inspiration or wisdom that just comes within you out of nowhere. Now, this is where the co-creating comes in. We can't do these things if it wasn't for the unified mind, the source, the God, whatever you want to call that almighty force working in the ether in unison with all things. Now, in my first video, I explained how all things are connected and we truly are all one. And if you haven't watched that video, I recommend you check it out. Now imagine being able to have access to that divine inspiration, that divine communication, almost at will. We'll talk more in the future on how to build that access and bridge that gap between source and how to develop that connection. For now though, we just want to focus on the power that it has, because I know all of you have felt something like that before. So you are this beautiful, divine, co-creating God. You have the power to create life, to nurture life, or to destroy life. You can build something up or tear it down. You can build someone up or tear them down. You have a lot of power. Now again, we live in a thought universe. We create things first in our mind, or we download them. Through our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we manifest things into this physical universe. Now, if our thoughts are so powerful, they can make plants die or flourish. They can change the shape of snowflakes to make them beautiful or ugly. Even if we speak negatively about rice, we can make it mold faster. Imagine how our thoughts affect the rest of the world. If our thoughts do good or bad things to water, plants, and food, what are they doing to humans? Remember, humans are primarily made of water. The fact that our thoughts have this much power is pretty amazing. With this knowledge and realizing that God is within all of us and that we can tap into this creative force at will, things really start to change. This is when your power really starts to be enhanced. Again, if our thoughts change this physical reality, without even moving your mouth, mind you. You don't even have to speak out loud. Without even emitting an actual readable sound vibration, you can alter this physical universe. And we can prove this time and time again. Below, I'll put some links in the description so you know what I'm talking about. The things you can do are virtually limitless. We could go into a lot of insane things people have done around the world, but we'll save that for another video maybe. The bottom line is you are a beautiful, divine, co-creating God that has immense powers beyond your wildest dreams. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is when Jesus says, "You will do greater than I." Now, Jesus represents God in the flesh, and he's basically saying, hey, if you're willing to recognize this God, or as they say in the Bible, the Father, which represents the unified mind, the source, that divine essence that connects all things and is creator of all things, if you're willing to recognize this, you will do greater than I. And I think that's pretty amazing coming from who it's coming from. I also think it's interesting how most people that teach or preach about the Bible just happen to kind of leave this out. Why do they leave it out? Could it be because they don't want you to know how powerful you truly are? Do they want us to rely on something or someone all the time? I am here today to remind you of that power. Like that famous quote in Spider-Man that was said by Peter Parker's uncle, "With great power comes great responsibility." So be careful with your thoughts, choose them wisely, be impeccable with your word, and say only what you mean. The power that you have can change the world, for better or for worse. Never think that you're too small to make a change. You are more powerful than you know.